welcome to your most authoritative evening political show, Hot News. We are live on Pan-African Television. We're also live on YouTube at Pan-African Television, as well as 48 African countries. You can join in the conversation by sending in your views, comments, and contributions on our WhatsApp text line. I'll be reading those messages out for you. Those of you watching us on Facebook, can share the Facebook Live for other people to also watch tonight's edition of the program. Don't forget to leave your suggestions, questions, contributions, and all of that on our socials, Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter at Pan-African Television, and I'll be reading all those messages out for you. My name is Justice Appiah, and tonight on Hot News, we are looking at two major issues. What are these issues? The Electoral Commission has said there was an error in the data published last week to update the public on the ongoing limited voter registration exercise. According to the commission, the figure published in the slide on challenge cases for the strongly repeated for the Upper East region as well. Aside from that, the EC says all other figures published last week were correct. And so a deputy commissioner in charge of operations in person of Mr. Tetteh held a press conference and he indicated this. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Faulty machines and inaccurate registration statistics. The Commission has duly and publicly acknowledged the challenges that were faced, especially in the first 2 days of the ongoing limited voters registration exercise. The registration process has since been seamless and smooth, as the public can testify and as the daily registration figures show. For example, in the first 2 days of the registration, we had a total of 35,784. However, on days 3 and 4, we had a total of 107,230. Since then, the daily statistics has been on the rise. On the issue of mistakes in infographs that the Commission acknowledged and corrected, it is important to reiterate that those mistakes did not affect the actual number of registered voters per district or region. All the political parties with agents at the various registration centers, including the NDC, have the same registered voters figures as the Commission. As a Commission, we will not hide from our mistakes. What is more important is that we identified why the mistakes happened and why they were not detected before publication. We have since put in place a system that will make sure this never happens again.
That was Mr. Alex Tetteh. You're still watching Hot News right here on Pan-African Television with me, Justice Appiah. Keep your messages coming in and I'll be reading those messages out for you. Those of you watching us on Facebook can share the Facebook Live for other people to also watch tonight's edition of the program. The National Democratic Congress is in response to this, has accused the Electoral Commission of manipulating the figures in order to have the 2024 elections rigged. This was said in a press conference by the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress in person of Honorable Fifi Fiave Quete. Let's listen to him. We'll be right back.
Unequivocally rejects the Electoral Commission's use of offline registrations, which could potentially cloak their inefficiencies under the guise of technical challenges. Such practices not only undermine the integrity of the electoral process, but are also ripe for exploitation, including data manipulation and introduction of errors that could skew the process outcome. This situation exemplifies what we term transpositional rigging of elections, where figures are shuffled between categories without affecting the overall total. In the OT region, the day 2 figure of 578 was erroneously swapped with the 3 figure of 1,515. Bono East recorded 2,252 per hour data. This figure will affect the total registered voters of 5,118 for Bono East for the 4 days as stated by the EC. It has come to our attention that EC registration officials, in collusion with elements of the NPP, are misusing the Ghana card extensively. A particularly alarming instance was uncovered at the Pusiga Registration Center, where EC registration officer Muhazu Al-Hassan issued a single Ghana card, used a single Ghana card to register 20 different applicants.
Notwithstanding
Right, so that was Honorable Fifi Fiave Kwete. I apologize for that technical hitch that we encountered earlier. I was picked, unfortunately, when the video was actually supposed to be playing. But we'll bring you another topic. And this one has to do with an allegation emanating from the quarters of the minority in Parliament. What are these allegations? They are alleging that government has given about 30 slots to each parliamentary candidate of a new patriotic party for the recruitment of some persons or party folk into the security services. I'm sure they're talking about the military, the police, immigration and all other, services that could be considered as being part of the security services. We'll bring you a bite later on that, a bite from the minority leader in person of Dr. Kisiel Ato-Forson. We'll bring you that, but let me introduce my guest for tonight. But before I introduce them, I know that my 2 nieces, I have 2 nieces who are in Ivory Coast. They are watching me tonight. Their names are Ivelda and, I'll recall the other one, but Ivelda and Venilopi. Venilopi, popularly known as Venilopi. Veni and Ivelda are watching me tonight, far away in Ivory Coast. I'm sure you guys would want to say something nice to them. Tonight in the studio with me is Elikem Kotoko. Elikem Kotoko is a deputy national organizer of the National Democratic Congress. Elikem, how are you doing?
I could be better, but I'm alive. All the same. Justice. It's been a while. Yes.
Right. Also in the studio with me is Awal Mohammed. Awal Mohammed is the head of PR for YE. How are you doing? And a member of a new patriotic party.
I'm fine, thank you. And thank you so much for the opportunity.
I fought you the other day because you didn't come.
That's true.
You actually decided never to respond to my message.
And that was my first time of not coming when I promised you I am not coming. One day, I remember I came here, I had running stomach, but I came and on the show you saw that. I agree with you. So it tells you that.
I agree with you.
There is a saying in Tree that says, Aburua ko jayena wambaya na ebia oyenuhuye.
What do you have? I know, right? I know. What do you have for my 2 nieces who are watching us in Ivory Coast, Veni and Ivelda?
I can only tell them to really keep watching Pan-African TV and thank them for watching Pan-African TV and say that, I don't know if they are your nieces, they will come to Ghana to vote. When they come, they will have to scrutinize and check which party is the best party that has implemented policies over time that every Ghanaian living everywhere will be able to benefit. So thank you so much for watching us, and I pray that when you come to Ghana to vote for MPP. Is the best party. We have Ivory Coast chapter.
Okay.
MPP. We have Ivory Coast chapter, which is one of the strongest. When you take Ivory Coast, Nigeria, we have these strong chapters.
You ask how old the nieces are.
Of course.
Look at Justice. You should be asking how old his nieces are.
Okay, so the parents.
These are kids who are not voting age.
Okay, so the parents.
I'm
I'm sure maybe the parents, one of them might be a Ghanaian who will come back and vote, right? Because they are your nieces.
Yes.
Definitely, it's either the mother or the father who will be your.
Yes. That one you are right.
Your cousin, right?
Very well.
So he will come and vote. So when he comes to vote.
All right. Elegant, what do you have to tell me?
Yeah, I wish them well. I have been in Cote d'Ivoire maybe 3 or 4 times.
Yes.
I love Cote d'Ivoire. I love their.
It's a beautiful
I love their
place, I guess.
nightlife.
Their nightlife.
Yeah, when you go to the Francophones enjoy clubbing and all of that. So and the meals they serve, the grilled chicken stuffs, and I think one of my favorite hotels was a Hotel de Pullman also.
Okay.
Yeah, or Plateau. I've forgotten.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
So you went to the nightclub at
Oh yes, I did. I do.
You love their nightlife.
Yeah. I love their nightlife. And,
I see.
Don't forget that the nightclub or the nightlife is for people 18 and above. Those are eligible voters, and just like he's saying, you'll meet a lot of Ghanaians out there as well who you need to preach to. Yes.
As for Ivory Coast, we have a very strong in Africa. When you check where we have our strong branches, Ivory Coast and Nigeria have the strongest, and almost every 6 months they hold events. They had ever invited me, but unfortunately I couldn't really make it. That was about 2 years ago. But,
Very well. So Yvelda and Venny, Uncle says, hi, good evening. How are you doing? Keep watching Pan-African television. But Elikem, I'll start with you on the Electoral Commission's issues. You know that they have encountered several problems since this whole process actually started. And now we've gotten to a point where they keep changing figures, the recent one was what they changed, or is what they changed just about 3 days ago. And they held a press conference to correct that, actually. They were saying that, well, it was a little mishap. But I think your party did not really understand the Electoral Commission. You think that these figures are manipulated because the 2024 election or the December election would be rigged by the Electoral Commission, or they are doing this in an attempt to rig the December elections. What's your conviction? I mean, the Electoral Commission, they are humans, and there are human errors. These are administrative errors. What's your conviction that these are attempts to, rig the election?
Thank you so much, Justice. Good evening to our viewers.
Right.
I want to say a good evening to one comrade, Prosper Akotia. He's the constituency youth organizer for Sege.
Okay.
And I also want to extend my commiserations to the headmaster of the school that I believe has made me, Mr. Samuel Neku, and the family who have lost their mother and his wife. We all call her Mama. Her name is Beatrice Awo Chikata Neku, whose final funeral rites will be 24th and 25th of this month, which is this Friday and Saturday. So all old students of Wisdom International School should make it a point to be there either on the Friday or the Saturday, or both.
Right.
I will be there myself as well too. Yes, Justice. Is this the first time we are having an electoral commissioner, or we are having the Electoral Commission of Ghana? Certainly not. But is this the first time we are having square pegs in round holes, malfunctioning every now and then? The answer is yes. We have had Electoral Commission since 1992, 1996, 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012, even 2016, and so on. Then we have a certain class of new appointees who have been sent into the Electoral Commission, who already have always been quick to speak foul language back to even we the Ghanaians. And suddenly, they don't seem to get things right, and they want us to believe that these are human errors. The first question one would want to ask is, so imagine the NDC was not vigilant enough to have pointed out those errors. Those so-called errors we believe were deliberate. Because don't forget that BVD machines we're told have gotten missing. These are equipment that we believe in one way or the other remain useful to the electoral process.
Okay.
So imagine the NDC was not vigilant enough. If you recall, our minority in parliament broke news about missing machines or missing equipment.
Right.
And they came out to vehemently deny it, only to make a U-turn later to now admit that these or some of the equipment were missing. Then here we are. Persons who are supposed to be learned, who have gone through school from basic through to junior high, to senior highs, to tertiary, and have acquired all the requisite knowledge that equips them to be arithmetically inclined,
Right.
have suddenly decided to be making some supposed mistakes or errors, and they want us to believe that. Justice, if you are going into a game, and before the match starts, the referee or the umpire begins to act in this way and manner,
Okay.
what level of confidence will you have in such an umpire when already some of these EC officials, Eric Bosman, the Apia Hene guy, are known party functionaries of the governing regime? And so if you have people manning the EC system who cannot do simple arithmetic, then I think you and I are sitting on a time bomb, because the truth is that then they cannot do anything right for us to actually applaud them for or be happy.
Okay.
If you recall also, Eric Bosman not long ago came out to say that it will be very stupid for anyone to suggest that the EC could change the outcome of an electoral result. That was one of the most foolish, senseless, and indeed very stupid commentary to be coming from a high office holder such as Eric Bosman.
These are harsh words.
The same harsh words he used on Ghanaians.
He was literally saying that the Electoral Commission doesn't have any power to change
I am literally
results.
also saying that he's refusing to use his brain wisely in communicating to the Ghanaian.
Okay.
And you see, is he not aware that recently, even in Ejiso, an electoral officer was counting ballots and jumped from 33 to 37? Is he not aware that they were counting, they were recording figures of 409,000 and then it turned to 499,000? Is he also aware of the gentleman who recently was caught using the Ghana card to register over 20 people? So he has no basis to actually have made that very foolish comment that I don't think even his child in his house would have made. Because I believe that even if he has a child at home and the child listens to this, he or she will tell you, Daddy, what you just said is foolish. Because even a child can tell that the Electoral Commission, with all intents and purposes, has the ability to maneuver and effect certain changes that will affect the outcome of an election.
Okay.
So when you have him say that, then now we are seeing these errors. Should we not call them Error Commission rather than Electoral Commission? And don't forget, it is not just one. It is not just twice. It is not just thrice, but it is continually happening. And if you have an Electoral Commission that is telling you that after Afarijan left and left a legacy, after Charlotte Osei left and left a legacy, Jen Mensah, who has now become known as Jezebel, has decided to bastardize herself by making the Electoral Commission look a bastardized institution or a compromised institution. You had a gentleman who was speaking. I find it difficult even keeping their names in my head.
Alex Tete.
Yes. Who was saying?
Samuel Tete.
He was saying that this will not happen again. That would. Look, can they stop this nonsense? The taxpayer is paying you to do a job. Do you think that, Justice, if it was Pan-African Television and this thing happened twice, will you be spared in your workplace?
Not at all.
You would have been fired. Because people have caused certain minor errors and it had very damning implications and they have to pay the price for it. But we are in a regime where, I am sorry but to say that people of this nature are the ones who are rather canonized by the regime and the appointer. And then you get, the surprising thing is that you have another party trying to either justify this or act as spokespersons for the Electoral Commission in matters of this nature.
Right.
In anything at all, was it compulsory, mandatory, for you to be in a rush to publish those things? Why don't you take your time? Is somebody putting a gun to your head? So it just didn't make any sense at all. It is a seeming deliberate conduct of the Electoral Commission to do this. And that is why I asked the question. Had we not been vigilant and prompted Ghanaians over this, what would have happened? They would have, as usual, said it's not true. Oh, don't mind the NDC. They are just throwing tantrums. It is just their usual propaganda. Anything we say, they say it's propaganda. And this is where we are today. Right. And if you are going into an elections with the empire misconducting herself or himself in this manner, there's every reason for you to doubt the fairness of that empire. You cannot have confidence in that empire. You cannot have trust in that empire. That is why it is very disingenuous for the Peace Council to, for instance, say that let us have trust in them and have confidence in them. No, not with this misconduct. I'm not sure that anybody at the Electoral Commission, at the Peace Council, will be happy with the things that are coming out from the Electoral Commission as the updates.
Right.
And these we must all condemn. Because I said something this morning
Very well.
on a sister station, and I have to repeat it here again. Under the current dispensation, what we in the NDC have learned is that in this whole thing called politics now as we speak, the number one rule is that there are no rules. You look at what is done and you respond appropriately.
Okay.
And that is, or those are the measures we are making sure we put in place to ensure that nobody is cheated, nobody's rights is taken away from him. And if you recall, we made it clear that our agents, for instance, were supposed to activate some sophisticated mechanism to ensure that even serial numbers of the machines were kept or taken in order to ensure we have proper monitoring of whatever was going on there.
How do you go into an election, you know, to accept the outcome of that poll in good faith when you don't even trust the referee?
The question should not be these. I'm sorry, I'm not the moderator. But the reason you should rather be asking why that is the posturing of one of the parties. Probably that should have been the posturing of the NPP too.
We've known
and if it is not their posturing,
parties, we've known you, the political parties, depending on who is ruling and who has appointed the Electoral Commissioner. To have had issues with the Electoral Commission, because when they were in opposition, they had issues with Madame Charlotte Osei to an extent that led to Charlotte Osei's removal from office.
You recall some of the problems they had with Charlotte Osei, that she changed the logo of the Electoral Commission. Does that affect the outcome of the elections? No. But you see, with the issues I have outlined, can you rule them out? You cannot. Because we have witnessed at Ejisu where an electoral officer was counting the ballots and jumped from 33 to 37.
Right.
True or false? Is that not criminal? And even though the NDC did not partake in that exercise, I expected the NPP, being right-thinking, sane people, to have called the EC to order that there was an error here. Even though everything is over, we expect it is corrected to demonstrate a true and fair democratic process. But no, they are okay. I have given you an example of what also happened when in Tamale, 409,000 suddenly turned to 490,000. And a lot of these things. And so if you have a referee who is already conducting itself in this manner, there's every reason for you to doubt that that referee is going to be free, is going to be fair and objective in the outcome of that episode or game. So that is our concern. That is our worry, because we know that we are going into these elections with every available full force to ensure that no single Ghanaian's vote is usurped at all. We are there to protect the votes. We are there to protect the ballots and to make sure that it is declared for the right winner. And we believe strongly the NDC shall be the ultimate winner in the next elections.
That was Elikem Kotoko. Viewers, if you're watching us, keep your messages coming in on WhatsApp / text line. Please display the text line. I mean, I've not seen it. People are calling instead of sending in their messages and all of that. So please display the line for other people to, send in their messages and all of that. Now, let me come to you. You've listened to the National Democratic Congress, the accusations they are leveling against the Electoral Commission. It seems they don't have an iota of trust in the Electoral Commission. We've also seen the Electoral Commission, of course. They have made mistakes, they've corrected the mistakes, they are still making such mistakes and all of that. What's the New Patriotic Party's position on the happenings in terms of the voter registration exercise that is ongoing, the challenges we have faced, and then, what we are continually seeing emanating from the quarters of the Electoral Commission, changing figures here and there, coming out to hold press conferences to apologize, telling Ghanaians that, well, yes, we admit that we've made mistakes, but we are correcting those mistakes and all of that. What's the New Patriotic Party's position on that?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Good evening to our cherished viewers. And
right.
I will say that just give me a minute to say that I am coming from an event that happened in Medina. You remember?
Yes, my reporters were there.
Exactly, in 2014, 2015, when former President Mahama was president of Ghana, he introduced what we call the Kaya levy, where every Kaya person, if you carry a load, you pay a fee for carrying that load in this country, both in Kumasi and Accra. They supported us in 2016 when Dr. Bawumia promised them that we will come and abolish that levy. Indeed, in 2017, we abolished that levy. We went ahead to really promise them a Kaya hostel. Dr. Bawumia was branded a liar in this country when we were trying to construct. They didn't know that we were constructing it. We have finished with the 6. 2 is ready. 2 in Kumasi, 2 in Tamale, and 2 in Ashama and Medina.
Okay.
600 people have really been engaged. That is 600 girls, head porters, are now in Medina and Ashama, and they will be trained in various skills so that they can come out and be set up and will not go back and carry loads again. So thank you, Dr. Bawumia, for really changing the narrative, because one president from the north came in and introduced a levy, the other president abolished the levy, and he's changing their job for them, changing it from carrying loads to really skills development.
Right.
I think you should be asking, why are we here? That's the question I will want us to really, Ghanaians to really ask, even us as politicians.
Why are we here?
Why are we here? Why do we have to even have issues with EC in terms of registration exercises and so on? The reason I'm asking why are we here is that the EC sent a bill to Parliament. They sent the CI to Parliament. And in the CI, they said, let's use Ghana card as a primary document for registration. The NDC opposed to it, raised a lot of issues, and we have to abandon that. If it has gone through, we wouldn't even say someone is a minor somewhere, or someone is not even a Ghanaian, or someone is a foreigner, because it is embedded in the CI that there will even be continuous registration. So when you get to 18 years, as it happens anywhere in the world, the developed world, when you get to 18 years and you're eligible for vote, you only go and you are captured onto the roll. We're doing registration exercise and not elections. The view of the MPP is that every Ghanaian 18 years and above who is eligible to be registered should be assisted to register. Every Ghanaian who is 18 years and above, who is eligible to be registered, should be assisted to be registered. So when you check, those we, as a political party, assist, we don't really do, this is an NDC person, this is an MPP person, because it is not guaranteed. This is something I have been really repeating from time to time. It's not guaranteed that you aided someone to register, but a person will go ahead and vote for you. That is not guaranteed. Because I use Ayeswano as an example. the former MP there, Ayepe, said that in 2020, the limited registration, he went ahead, bussed people, assisted a lot of people to go and register. After all the registration, the NDC person didn't do that, but they came back and voted him out as a member of parliament. So it is not really guaranteed that if you assist someone to register, the person will vote for you. That's one. Two is that this registration exercise, after they finish everything, granted they tell us that they have registered even 30 million Ghanaians. The law is saying that 3 months to elections, 120 days clear to the elections, they should furnish all the political parties with the register. Pictures.
Right.
The police station and everything, every detail of a voter should be given to the political parties. If you have any issue, you use that register to raise the issue so that you go into the elections without any issue.
Right.
So what they are doing today, the registration exercise will end after they compile the 600 and something thousand that they said they will want to include into the roll. They will put everything together in addition to the 17 million we already have. Then they will tell us that the Ghanaian voters are 18 million or 19 million. Out of the 19 million, they give us the register with the biometric data of every single voter. This is the law. So the things that they are doing right now, they publishing figures and going ahead to correct them and say these are unpardonable mistakes coming from the EC. No one is on your neck to be giving us updates in a hurry. You're not in a hurry. You're not really in contention with anyone. We as a political party, we are collating ours because we have polling agents there who are also tabulating. We know the NDC is doing so, and the NDC saw the anomaly because they published it on Facebook. And they saw the anomaly, they drew their attention, they corrected them. These are unpardonable mistakes, as I said. Because why will you go, sit down, after tabulating everything, you get the figures wrong.
Right.
You leave doubt in the minds of a lot of Ghanaians.
I was about to ask you that, are we not supposed to be worried about...
Yes, we are supposed to be. We are supposed to be. I'm saying that. You even leave doubt.
Yes.
Even though there are channels, I'll come to the rigging of elections, whether they can rig the elections or not. But I'm saying that there are channels beginning of any elections. You start from the registration exercise, exhibition, and some few other things. But if tabulating the numbers, collating the numbers, which is not even up to 100,000 in a day, and you really have issues writing them. This is something that you have typed. If it is even something that you have said it, maybe you said it in a mistake. But this is something that after tabulation, you get someone to sit behind the screen and type it. So these are unpardonable mistakes that I believe the EC will have to correct them towards the elections. The officers that today Elikem is bastardizing, even though I don't fault him for bastardizing them. They are those who conducted the 2020 elections.
Okay.
They conducted the 2020 elections. The chairperson and the two deputies conducted the 2020 elections. Haji Amaiga, who has a route with the NDC, is part of the 7. You understand? So there are a lot of people. It's only a Piahine and one other person who really did not conduct that elections. But the director of electoral services, Dr. Sebu Okweku, rose through the ranks from district director to regional director to now director of electoral services for the EC. As to the EC will be able to rig the elections for a party or not, I believe from my own political party, what we believe is that as Afarajan had already told us, this is something that will live with us till eternity, that elections are won at the polling station.
But don't you think that mistakes... Don't you think...
Yes,
that,
so I'm coming, yes.
But before, don't you think that mistakes in, or the anomalies in the figures are becoming too much? Because you recall that in the 2020 election, they made similar mistakes and they had to even come and change the figures later and apologize to the good people of Ghana.
Yes.
one would have thought that after that, the Electoral Commission wouldn't have committed some of these petty
exactly so.
mistakes.
I
We are
believe.
seeing it. We are
Yes.
still seeing it. So that is becoming quite worrying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That I'm also worried. As a political party, we're also worried that indeed, if you cannot even get these figures correct, but I'm saying that elections are won at the polling station.
Okay.
When you have vigilant polling agents, they will be able to, if the person is counting 1, 2, 3 and make 10, the polling agent will tell him that no. Again, the electoral process in this country, as Bosman Asari has said, especially at the polling station through to the district office, to regional, to national, there is little chance. I don't see anyhow the EC officials will be able to manipulate, because every process in these elections is transparent. Even the printing of ballot papers in this country, even procurement, printing of ballot papers. NDC and NPP have reps in all the printing houses that we sit. After they print, we write the serial numbers. We have experts sitting there. Right. NDC selected expert to go there. After that, when they come at the polling station, when you train your polling agents well, then you are able to be vigilant to make sure that you don't go and take tea and say that you took tea and abandon the place and so on. And again, when you have a good collation center, to the extent that for the last 2 elections or 3 elections, the NDC is still not able to even collate their results, to even make sure that when they go to court, they will be able to point to it and say that this is the figures we have.
Okay.
But you see, media houses like Pan African in 2020 called the elections because they have reporters across the country who were taking the results from the district, not even the regional. Media houses have people at the district level. Now, the mystery around this collation center has been taken off to the extent that all results are certified at the polling station for the agent to sign. If you have any doubt, you don't sign. Then there is a contention. Then there will be a recount. Then at the district level, it is certified. Then the candidate, your parliamentary candidate, will come and sign. And all the parliamentary candidates will sign. Then the results will be taken to the region, where you have regional strong rooms, where political parties send their people. The last time in Ashanti region, it was Broja Jemfi and Betimuld and others that the NDC presented. They will certify the results. Before it gets to Accra, it comes at the region as a regional bulk. And by then, newspapers and media houses have set their cameras that they come in and they also look at it. Then they start calling on their networks. So it's true that as it stands today, I see no reason. I don't see how any electoral officer will be able to rig the elections when you have trained your agents very well. You have a good collation center that you can come and say that we have this number. Why do you have this number? Maybe the NDC is trying to tell us that 2016 they have learned their 2016 2020 now they have learned their lessons, that they are doing the collation in the room to the extent that they were able to see this anomaly. Maybe when the numbers get to 17 million 16 million, that is when the NDC has really challenged on the number of votes, because we had NDC officials coming to say that they couldn't collate the 2016 elections. Even in 2020, when Asiedu Nketia went to court, Asiedu Nketia did not produce what you collected. He was still referring to the anomalies by the EC. But the media houses were able to collate and tell you that these are the number of votes NDC got, these are the number of votes MPP got, and they were able to put everything together. Elections in Ghana are so transparent to the extent that I believe that if you have a solid message, if you have really well-trained polling agents, and you have good IT system, you should be able to track all your votes.
The Patriotic Party, when Madame Charlotte Osei was the electoral commissioner, you had same notion that Charlotte Osei was going to rig the election for John Dramani Mahama in that election.
Martin Amidu
that pronounced
yes,
Nana Addo Dankwa
that's true.
the president.
Martin Amidu,
why are you making
Martin Amidu, who then called himself a foundation member of the NDC in 2016, wrote a long article and said Charlotte Osei was appointed to rig that elections.
Okay.
There is a saying in Chi that I'm coming. So we were on Charlotte Osei's neck to change that register.
But since when did you know?
I'm coming. We were on her neck. We were on her neck.
Declare the election for any candidate if indeed they cannot.
So we were on her neck to change the register because we felt that there are some foreigners in the register. She said no. Then we went ahead to campaign vigorously and bring people from NASA to come and help us collate.
But I feel that you are shifting the goalpost.
You understand? Because we were able to call the elections 2 days after the elections.
No, I'm coming. Wait.
Yes, we brought Joe Anochi.
You're saying that.
What was he working?
You're saying
we
that.
brought people like Joe Anochi to come and help us collate our results. So in the process, when you even pick the polling agent at the station where he will be the polling agent, after picking the pink sheet, if you snap it, there is a platform that you send. It comes to headquarters straight. Right. So by the time that, within the first 2 days, we were able to know the number of votes we got to the extent that our McMenu came and mentioned the figures. And it didn't contradict what even the EC came to say, because we had all this.
If the understanding today is that elections are won at the polling station,
yes,
then, and this statement is factual today, then some years ago, it was the same factual statement that elections are won at the polling station.
We never said Charlotte Osei.
What I'm basically saying is that you had the notion that Charlotte Osei was going to rig the 2016 election.
It was the NDC person who said that.
In fact, no.
She was appointed to rig the election.
How possible?
So we were only vigilant.
How possible?
We were only vigilant.
But you believed in that notion.
No.
Since when did that notion change?
We told her to change the register because we felt that the register is full of foreigners.
Yeah.
That was what we did that time. To the extent that you remember Dr. Bawumia brought in Togo's register and juxtaposed it, saw pictures with a lot of people. These are the things we did. NPP don't really work out of vacuum and make only noise, have a general secretary come and stand in front of the media and make only noise without adducing evidence. When we say elections, in 2012 when we went to court, we went with 11,000 pink sheets.
Great. My question.
We went to 11,000 pink sheets. NDC went to court in 2020 without a single pink sheet.
I have a simple question for you. You are saying that the Electoral Commission, as it is today, cannot rig the election for any candidate.
Yes.
Factual. That's a factual statement.
Yes.
The Electoral Commission, even under Dr. Afari-Gyan, couldn't have rigged the election for any candidate. What prompted you to accuse Madame Charlotte Osei of having the intention to rig the election for John Dramani Mahama in 2016?
I told you that someone who worked with John Dramani Mahama as a cabinet minister, he worked as a deputy attorney general under Rawlings, became interior minister, became attorney general, has come out to tell us that someone will rig. He only told us to be vigilant.
According to you, the Electoral Commission cannot rig.
Yeah, that was the reason we were vigilant. And we campaigned vigorously, police our
now
results.
We know that the Electoral Commission cannot rig election for any candidate, by your own statement.
Exactly so.
So Charlotte Osei couldn't have rigged the election for John Mahama.
So we only had to be vigilant. That's why I told you, even today, if the Electoral Commission will be able to do something,
but you vilified and victimized Charlotte Osei.
We only called on Charlotte Osei to give us a register because we said, let my vote count. You remember the numerous demonstration we held. You understand? So we were calling on her to give her a new register. Meanwhile, we were focused on our campaign. To the extent that we're telling the people of this country, one district, one factory, free senior high school, restoration of allowance, all these, the Kayaye hostel.
Step down for me.
These are the things we promised the people of this country. We policed our ballot, every single ballot that was cast, we were able to police it and we're able to know the number of votes we got. So the NDC is now trying to tell us that they have now set up some IT systems that they will be. We don't want a situation where after elections you come and tell us that it has also been hacked.
That was Awal Mohammed. Let me do a few of our messages. I'll come back for us to discuss the other topic. This one says, all the rough tactics by the EC will not work. The Osono will go back to the bush forever. NDC all the way. William Akoli sent in that one. William, thank you so much for your message. This one says, hi, good evening, Mr. Justice. What is the MPP communicator saying? Is he not in the country in the 2020 election? How many times did the EC mention the presidential results? Please, let's stop the propaganda. It wouldn't favor us as a country. And this one is from Benjamin. Benjamin, thank you so much for your message. This one says, good evening, Justice. This MPP man doesn't, really understand what he's talking about. At any time he's on there, he kept saying same thing. He has never been current. Powerful JM. My regards to Yaosu, my man, Joe in Tamale sent in that one. Joe, thank you so much for your message. Please tell Awal that we are here because we were in this country where changing of EC's logo by Charlotte Osei became a chewing stick as a conduit of the then EC to rig the 2016 election in John Mahama's favor. How authentic is the Ghana card when Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's church coordinator, Reverend Kusi Boateng, according to Shraj, used double identities to dupe Ghanaians in the building of the National Cathedral? The Ghana card is not the cause of EC's deliberate padding of figures in this limited registration. Maybe the multiple 2020 election results was also because we didn't use Ghana card during the voting. Prekese Kwame aristocrat, Kaswa Old Barrier. Hey, Prekese, it's been a long time, long time. Right, very well, very well. Good evening.
Tell him Dr. Bawumia is a Muslim and not a Christian.
Right, good evening. But what about the name Timothy? Quoting Bible quotations here and there and then quoting them wrongly. Good evening, Mr. Justice.
As a
please
Muslim,
kindly tell Awal to
let me just
comport himself
Muslim,
very decently today on your show, in your studio.
The Bible, or you're not a Muslim.
Right, I'll come back to you. In fact, anytime he comes on your show, everything becomes very bazaar. What is that? What kind of English is that? This is Malam from Osmania City, Liberia camp. Thank you so much for your message. This one says, Christian from Volta. The Nana Personal Property MPP knows very well that Ghanaians are fed up with them. So the only way to win back power is to use the EC. Solo's party and the rest of the parties should help the NDC to fight a good cause. You are talking about the Afrafranto. Okay, they should help NDC. This one says, good evening, Justice. The MPP man has never been current. Why? Okay, all right. Thank you so much for your message. This one says, appointment of the IT expert to the Electoral Commission by Nana Akufo-Addo wasn't for nothing, but it was done for a purpose and an agenda. So NDC high hierarchy should sit up. I'm very serious. These MPP people are very dangerous. MPP is in bed with Electoral Commission. They always tend to be spokespersons for the commission. From James K. Saba. James, thank you so much for your message. This one's good evening. Please tell the MPP man that they should stop branding themselves as true Muslims, because God will judge them for what he's saying. Yahuza Salamba in Tamale sent in that one. Let me take our last message. And then, my brother, I feel so sad when I see young men like the MPP man defending every wrongdoings of this government. If he cares to know he is a potential leader of this country, our forefathers left a better Ghana for us, and let him continue to defend this terrible governance. It is you, the young ones, who will bear the consequences, and we, including Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, will be long gone. Think twice. From Abattoir, Takwa, Kwamina Chrome sent in that one. I'm sure this one is coming from an old man. We have just about...
just a quick one.
So, Elegam, you have 5 minutes.
Okay.
You touch on this one, and then the allegation from the minority
Okay.
that government has given 30 slots each for every parliamentary candidate or a New Patriotic Party to bring people to be recruited into the security services. So, I mean, take it up from there.
When I listen to my brother Awal, I think Awal brought his own set of responses in answering to questions he also set by himself. Because from all what he was saying, for instance, saying that what brought us here was because we in the NDC opposed the decision to use the Ghana card as a sole document, or as a sole, the sole document for registration. And I would want to ask him, is he aware of an electoral officer who was conniving with people, registering 20 people with just one Ghana card? When, for instance, we are even aware, do you know what they are doing, Justice?
What are they doing?
Let me even tell you what they're doing. What is even happening is that, and we have actually now, we have prompted our agents long before ago.
It's not an electoral.
And the electoral system could not detect that. And even that, the electoral system, it tells you how porous the system even is. One. So there's no way this is defensible. No, you see, you are raising these in response to the EC's errors on their platform. That is why I'm letting you know. So talking about Ghana card as their own, that's why I'm giving that example, number one.
Very well.
Number two, you realize that he's disorganized my thoughts. Yes. Anyways, regardless, it will come to mind.
Very well.
But talk about the minorities statement on a request for the majority to bring in some 30 slots for the majority.
Yes.
This is not surprising. I said on a sister station today, the Interior Minister also came to immediately rubbish it and say it is not possible and all that, because if you calculate the numbers, 8,000 doesn't make sense, it doesn't make logic, and it will not happen. Then guess what? Then they were telling us that it is a backlog of those who may have applied and didn't pass through in the previous years. But Justice, we didn't just come from Mars to exist in Ghana. What I'm saying is that anytime there's a recruitment process, and once that process ends, it ends. You don't tell us that in 2018 you are going back to take some numbers from 2017 in order to recruit them in 2019. No, it doesn't happen that way. Because even if I applied in 2017, there is no guarantee that I'm still interested in applying, or I'm still interested in the services in the next year.
But they have challenged the minority to provide
so at the right time, we are getting there. We'll get there. The leader has made it known that if at the right time and push to the wall, he will release further information on that. And you see, so they are now telling us, oh, it's a backlog. You see, since 2017, 2018, those who did not make it, and they have the list. What are you keeping the list of people who didn't make it for? It's a process that ends for that year. Once it ends, you discard that and then open fresh recruitment. That is one of the major reasons is why if you've noticed, those of you in the media, for some very long time now, this regime does not advertise recruitment.
Even last year it was advertised.
But all we hear or see is they are passing out.
But all the
they are passing out. Meanwhile, this is supposed to be done probably even twice a year.
No. This is what you do. You push your party folk into some of these positions and all of that, into some of these agencies and institutions. NDC would not do anything different from what you're accusing the NPP of.
That is not the substance of the matter, even if I want to say that cannot be entirely denied. But the point of the matter is that we are close to an election year, and this is the time when you feel that you now want to even go on to give slots of 30 to each parliamentary candidate. For what purpose? And so when someone comes to deny it and saying that it is not true, etc., we will need to really look at it and say, look, why are you bringing forward previous recruitments which ended with those particular years? It is not a carry forward exercise. It ends with each year, and that is as simple as that.
All right, thank you so much, Elikem, for your submission. Now let me come to you a while on the issue of allegations emanating from the quarters of the minority. Why would you give slots to all parliamentary candidates of your party to bring 30 people for recruitment into the security services? Why? It doesn't belong to the agencies or the services. They don't belong to the New Patriotic Party. I mean, it should be for Ghanaians and not your party folks, although they are also Ghanaians.
I think NDC has one of the weakest
minority leaders.
I see.
That Ghana ever had.
What makes you
Haruna
think
Idrisu
so?
Will never come and throw allegations without evidence. Haruna Idrisu will never come and say, when I'm pushed to the wall, that I bring the evidence.
Well, are you saying that your party is not recruiting party folks into the security agencies?
I'm building a point. I'm saying that a responsible political party will not come and be throwing allegations about and tell the media that I will bring in the evidence if I am pushed to the wall. Can you imagine when you have evidence that 30 people in all 138 constituencies, and you are now telling me that you will need to be pushed to the wall before you bring in that? Does that jail? That's why I'm telling you that Haruna Idrisu will never do this. He will never come and say, push me to the wall before I do that. That's one.
That's his style.
Two is that when I work with the Youth Employment Agency, we open to do recruitment. We have recruited for Ghana Police Service. When we do the recruitment, we open once for the recruitment. Then we shortlist 15 to 20,000. We recruited 15,000 for them.
Okay.
We shortlist the 15,000. We shortlist 20,000 people and leave them. Then we move them in batches for training.
Okay.
So if you see a pass out in the next 6 months or 3 months, and you think that we have done pass out for like 3-4 times, and you think that we are doing clandestine recruitment, then you don't understand the process. That is what Ghana Police Service does. Even with their own recruitment, they have only 6 training institutions in the country. In the 6 training institutions, it's not every time that the institutions are free, because there are people who go for, there are other officers who go for upgrade and some few other things. So they come back to the police training school to do all this. So mostly Winneba is even occupied and some few other places. So what happens is that Ghana Police Service will not be able to recruit everyone at a go, those they advertise. What they do is that they shortlist them and put them in batches. So they train the first one, then there will be a pass out. Then they call the second one, which had been put in the basket. This is what has been happening. So if they tell you that these are a backlog, the backlog means that when we were doing recruitment, the police service is able to train only 3,000 at a go. Almost all the recruitment.
So why not take the 3,000?
No, that's not what.
But I need you to deal with this question for me.
I'm saying that we follow their process. The
Right.
Youth Employment Agency is following the process of the police. They are telling us that let's use one day to capture everyone, shortlist them and put them somewhere. Then we start calling them and one after the other, so that you will not go through the process of advertising. You do one advertisement, and that is what is done. So the minority should be responsible and should take Ghanaians seriously. They should take the media seriously. Next time you go there and someone I'm telling you that it is a lie.
Your party has kicked against this, but since you assumed office in 2016,
yes.
Question is, are you saying that if we go into the security services, we won't find party folks recruited into the services?
So
I'm asking you.
What's wrong with an NPP person being recruited into the
There's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong.
But a deliberate attempt to get NPP people into the services.
Don't you have NDC people in your family?
I have NDC and NPP people. I have both. You know, my family in Koforidua are all NPP.
Yes, so if you get an opportunity to assist someone to get into any work in this country, so because the person is NPP or NDC, you not allow the person to do that.
You see, it is not so. But the process must be
6
fair.
million people voted for NDC.
Okay.
6.5 million people voted for us. And within this 6.5 million, there are people who are rightfully qualified.
The probability of picking an MPP person over any other person who is a supporter of any of these political parties is high.
That is true.
Yes.
What's wrong with that?
Everything is wrong with that. The process must be fair.
The NDC does that. This is not the first time.
Okay. So you are admitting that in the political parties you do that.
Me today, sitting here, someone who is related to me enters into police service.
Right.
You really, you don't even talk about it.
Right.
Because if you tell me that when we do recruitment is only our people, that's what happened. You remember at a point in time in this country, when Rawlings was president,
Right.
We had all the top,
Okay.
top military people being Ewes.
Very well.
People raise issues about it.
Okay.
What's wrong with that if they are Ghanaians and they qualify?
So, what is wrong with this allegation if they say that you have given slots to
What
your
is wrong
parliamentary
with
candidates
the allegation
to
is
recruit?
that a responsible political
yeah.
party that is waiting to govern this country cannot come and be making only noise without any substantiating the allegation.
Kindly step down for me in 2 minutes.
I am telling you that Haruna Idrisu.
I'm giving you extra 2 minutes,
I'm
so
saying
I'll
that.
give Elikem 2 minutes to
You
respond.
can't do that.
No, your 5 minutes is over. I'm
can't
giving
do
you
that
extra
here.
2
You
minutes.
can't do that here. I'm saying.
Okay, go ahead.
I am saying that Haruna Idrisu,
Right.
as minority leader, will never come and organize a press conference and tell the people of this country that 30 people in 138. It doesn't even jail. How
Right.
many people do they even recruit within a day? Or within a year? 30 in all parliamentary candidates.
275
times 30. Why will they train them? I'm saying that the police service has 6 police training institutions.
Okay.
Within the 6, the highest they can even recruit within a year is 1,000. They can't even recruit 1,000 a year. So you are telling me that not 275, but 30 times 275, Atufosi should be serious.
Right. Thank you so much, Awal, for your submission. Viewers, you are still watching Hot News right here on Pan African Television with me, Justice Opia. Keep your messages coming. I'll be reading some of the messages out for you. Let me say good evening to my brother, Ademola Kojo. Kojo, in fact, Kojo, I'm sure he's watching us.
Yes.
He's a brother and a friend.
Yes.
Kojo can worry like something.
Yes.
But Elikem, you have 2 minutes.
Yeah, just
because I gave you 7
all
minutes.
I want to
It's
say
fair that I
is
give you
that
extra 2
Awal
minutes.
was peddling falsehood.
What
again,
falsehood did he
that
peddle?
During the era of Rollins, majority or many or all the top guns in the military were Ewes.
Right.
That is a total falsehood, and he should probably go back to revise his note. People who are within even his own regime will let him know that that is never the case.
Right.
In fact, everyone can attest to the fact that Jerry Rawlings' era was when you would have to only be taken purely based on merit. And it could never have been the fact that the things you are doing today, where we have seen some of the recruitments and questionable characters who have said, are we not, were we not here? No, did we not? Did we not
want
see?
us to push him to the wall?
No.
Can you imagine you're doing
Did we not see the likes
You
of
wasted your time.
what's the name of the
Right.
guy, Double, etc., who were recruited into the national service and were given weapons, wielding weapons to be doing what they were doing?
The national security.
He's a Ghanaian and he qualifies
What's wrong with
to be trained for 2 weeks and be holding a weapon. Do you know what it means?
What's wrong with that?
We have trained armed robbers to be wielding weapons and they are misconducting themselves. That is exactly what it is.
Train someone for 2 weeks and he
You
becomes-
cannot. It is
Which
not.
law? Which law
You see,
tells you that
it is
you
not a
cannot
matter
train
of
someone?
law. Training, arms training does not take 2 weeks. That is what you need to
That
even
one
know.
there, I mean, we need to
it is
agree.
not. I have even been a cadet.
Within the 6 months, arms, training on arms doesn't even take up to 10% of the training. Check.
So what takes them 90% of the time of the training? Marching.
No, marching takes a chunk of the majority of the time.
Right.
You check the 6 months that they spend as police
Very well.
officers.
Very well.
You see, it's in your record.
Right.
Honorable Kesel Ato Forsen,
Yeah, we have
will
1 minute
not
more
be
to go, so-
moved by the likes of
Right.
Awal to want to
Very well.
crash heads by trying to equate to
That's where the
Haruna.
30
Okay,
is
But he has
going
told you that he will. You see, the point is that
Thank you so much for coming, Elikem.
Here you are trying to say that Haruna will not do this. Haruna, no, Ato Forsen
He
is
has
called
his time.
Ato Forsen.
Right.
Ato
Okay.
Forsen is not called Haruna Idrisu. So you cannot be wanting to
When we
equate
say
Ato Forsen.
Charlotte Osei will want
All right, thank you so much, Elikem, for coming. I'm so grateful for your time. Thank you so much, Awal, for coming. I'm so grateful for your time. This is what time will last on the program. We get time with us same time tomorrow. Thank you so much, Dion. Dion is my director. TT, my sound man. DJ Money, he did the camera for us tonight. My producer, Daniel, thank you all so much for being there. I mean, staying up always to make sure that we bring hot news to our viewers as late as this hour. My name is Justice Opia, and the show has been Hot News. Good night.